This is the biggest heist of all time for the New York Knicks, as Leon Rose is working on a way to get back a New York Knicks fan favorite and a guy who fits in perfectly with this team, finally solving the Nova Knicks Infinity Stones, while the Knicks end up making a move that feels like it has been teased a million times in the past. Well, really two moves, and we're going to break it all down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here. You saw Donte Divncenzo on the thumbnail. We're going to jump right into it. Look, if you guys are enjoying the channel, make sure to subscribe. It's a bunch of fun here. We're talking Knicks every single day. We do not miss an upload, and on top of that, you will stay on top of all things Knicks. You'll know more about the Knicks than all your friends. You get to brag to them that you know it all, and then you can shout me out. Don't gatekeep me. But in all seriousness, let's jump into this, because Donte Divncenzo damn well might be the best one-and-done Knick player of all time. He came into the Knicks and was awesome. He was an elite shooter. He gave him that grit, that energy, and the Knicks traded him away to land Karl-Anthony Towns. A move that, well, the Knicks got to the conference finals because of it. So we get to say that and rest on our laurels, but ever since the Knicks traded DiVincenzo 9 months ago, it became evidently clear that there was a Donte Divncenzo hole left in the wall, or Donte Divncenzo-sized hole left in the wall, as the Knicks did not anymore have that elite shooter who was also a great defender and just overall the guy who brought serious energy that helped the Knicks in so many ways. And now it's been revealed the Knicks are going back after him. As Chris Persianen mentioned, that he had heard around the new year that the Knicks had internal discussions about a potential reunion with Donte Divncenzo in the upcoming offseason. Well, that upcoming offseason is here. DiVincenzo's coming off a season where he started slow, but he got things together, putting up 12 points per game, 3.7 rebounds and 3.6 assists with 1 steal, playing good defense, shooting 42% from the field and 40% from three, 42% from the corner three as well. Dante is in his prime, and he is a very, very talented player. We saw it with the Knicks. We know how good this man is. And obviously, this is not the first time that we've talked about Donte Divncenzo and a Knicks reunion happening on this channel. We've brought it up a few times because there's always been a bit of reports. It didn't take long after for the Dante reunion talks to begin. I feel like a lot of Knicks fans, myself included, when DiVincenzo got traded, it wasn't long before we kind of all felt this sense of, this isn't goodbye forever. This is see you later. With Randall, it felt like goodbye forever. It feels like Julius Randle's never going to be back on the Knicks. It never felt that way with Dante. It felt like somehow, some way, he would find his way back to New York. I imagine that Dante is, if he could choose a team, would want to play for the Knicks. This is what I said about Mikal Bridges a year ago, and now we're 360 days past the Mikal trade, and it felt like we were going to get it. It felt like it happened. The Nova Knicks era began, and a few months later, without one single preseason game played, the Nova Knicks era ended. They had all 4 Villanova guys in Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Donte Divncenzo, and Mikal Bridges. However, the Timberwolves wanted Bridges, Timberwolves wanted DiVincenzo in an effort to, when they wanted to trade Towns away because of the salary situation and all that, and the Knicks needing a center in The Knicks needing a center in Cat, and obviously it happened. They tried to trade Mitchell Robinson to the Timberwolves. They did offer Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson, and the first-round pick. The first-round pick that got traded to Minnesota for Karl-Anthony Towns. The Timberwolves declined, saying, no, we don't need Mitchell Robinson. We have Rudy Gobert. Mitchell Robinson does not move the needle for us when we have Rudy Gobert and Naz Reid. He does not fit on our team. It does not make sense for us. Plus, isn't he injured right now? So all of that kind of led into this situation where now we're here. A year later, things have changed. The Timberwolves roster is changing, and part of that is going to lead to a lot of questions. Now, DiVincenzo on the Knicks was excellent. He put up 15.5 points per game, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists in the process, shooting 44% from the field and 40.1% from 3, with a just good defense, nearly getting an offensive rebound per game, and those numbers stepped up come the playoffs. 18 points per game, 4 rebounds, 2.5 assists, shooting 42% from the field and 42% from 3. Devo was awesome for the Knicks. He was the only guy who was there healthy. Obviously had one of the biggest shots that the Knicks had seen in a very long time against the Philadelphia 76ers to win Game 2. He was also pulling an offensive rebound down on a nightly basis. The man tracks the ball well. He does everything well, and he would fit on this team perfectly. The Knicks team desperately needs an elite three-point shooter. Devo, if he started on this team and Josh Hart went to the bench, oh my goodness, that would be a squad. Where if it's the same classic starting five they used all year, except you replace Josh Hart with Dante, yeah, it's a little small, but that shooting is going to be beautiful. Who are you helping off of? You're praying Mikal or OG misses a corner three? That's what you got to bank on, because I mean, the offense would just be beautiful. It would be humming. If the Knicks do end up hiring Mike Brown and getting Devo back, being able to do that, that would be a beautiful, one of the most efficient offenses that we've seen. Now, all this lies on the Minnesota Timberwolves, and what are they going to do in regards to Kevin Durant? Now, as Jeremy Cohen mentioned, there's a lot of talk on if Kevin Durant gets traded to the Timberwolves, and Donte DiVincenzo is used for salary. And can the Knicks get him? To me, it's just feeling like if you want Devo on the Knicks, I get it. But if I'm the Suns and I acquire him, I want to keep him. I don't want to trade him. It's not impossible for the Knicks to do this. It's just challenging because of the Suns' interest in him. So DiVincenzo has typically been thrown into these trade talks surrounding Kevin Durant to the Timberwolves. It's known the Timberwolves made a few offers. They involved Terrence Shannon and Rob Dillingham as well. So two guys there who the Knicks would also be making, or not the Knicks, but the Knicks would kind of be watching getting moved in this process and hoping that the Suns would rather those younger guards than Dante, even though the fact they still have Devin Booker and they don't have draft picks, so they are trying to compete, so they'd have to flip him for something. But here's where things get interesting on that front. Mitchell Robinson. We know the Suns want a center. We know they need a center. Mitchell Robinson is a center. He's a center that fits well on that team, in fact. They need a big man. The Knicks want Devo back. The Knicks have considered trading Mitchell Robinson a bunch of times before. He's on the last year of his contract. I feel like it's likely he gets traded anyway. And every time I say that, someone gets mad. It's like, why do you want to trade Mitchell Robinson? I want to make it very clear that Mitchell Robinson is my favorite player on the Knicks. I love Mitchell Robinson. I'm a huge fan of Mitch. If he does get traded, I'd be devastated. But I do think he's going to. And if you could trade Mitchell Robinson and get back Donte DiVincenzo, you're doing that trade. Let's be real. Now, as Jeremy Cohen mentioned, you'd have to send Mitchell Robinson. It can be done, but so much needs to fall into place, including the Suns having interest in Mitch and them and the Knicks pulling it off. And look, there's a few ways they can go about it. Devo on the Timberwolves in the playoffs did not really have a good run of things at all. Only shot 32% from three, averaging 8.7 points. Played 10 less minutes than he did with the Knicks. The defense was still good. The rebounds, the assists were good. It's just his shot was not falling, which did cause some issues. So the Timberwolves team is more expendable now. And again, the Knicks can't get him from Minnesota because Devo's a tradable contract that the Wolves don't want to use on Mitchell Robinson. So they have to have it come from the Suns, or you have to work out a three-team trade like the one that we're looking at right there, where the Knicks would get DiVincenzo back. The Suns would get Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson, Rob Dillingham, Terrence Shannon Jr., the Timberwolves' 17th overall pick, and that Knicks pick via Washington that's top 1 to 10 protected, and if it lands in there, it will convert to 2 second-rounders. Meanwhile, the Timberwolves get Kevin Durant. Durant's value is not at its highest right now. He's going to be 37 years old next season. Julius Randle wants a massive extension. The Suns get another scorer in Randle who's a lot different from Devin Booker. They have that Kentucky connection. They also get a big man in Mitchell Robinson. Randle and Robinson are very good friends, and they know how to play together, so it would work out well. And I think with this all in mind, it makes sense for the Knicks, for sure, because, yeah, you're going to have that issue with not having a rim protector, but that is solvable. That is solvable in free agency. You could find someone. I mean, again, he's not as good as Mitchell Robinson. First of all, Towns can play center. He can. You just have to be an offensively focused team because you're not winning a defensively focused team with Karl-Anthony Towns as your center. 0% chance. However, the Knicks do have options here. They can go for Clint Capella or someone like that in free agency. Or that is their option. That's really the big option. Unless they're going to make some other trade for a big man, which I don't see happening if they trade for Devo. I imagine that they'd stick with that top 7 and understand they have to get a good big man in there. And yes, Huck Porty's going to still play, I think, in this situation. But you do want a veteran as long as you're a contending team. You do want a veteran big man as well on the squad. It's just, I mean, we saw the impact that Mitch had. But to get this Nova Knicks team back together, to have a guy in Dante who's under contract for 2 more seasons, you get an extension on those years that you don't really have to worry about paying him. On top of that, you do have these 4 back together. The greatest, as GQ put it, which is where I have this photo from, the greatest Knicks team that never was. It was so close to happening. It was going to be so fun, and then it got ripped away from us. And again, I make it sound like they didn't trade for Karl-Anthony Towns, who was an all-star starter. with the Knicks. The man was phenomenal. I love the way the Towns played. I know his defense isn't good, but the offense, I mean, he almost single-handedly won the Knicks game 3 against the Pacers just based off scoring 20 points in the fourth quarter. Towns was phenomenal. And I do think the Knicks can win a championship with this core, but I do think they're going to move Mitchell Robinson. Donte DiVincenzo, it's who you go for. And then you add a big man somewhere in free agency. Again, likely a guy like Capella, because there's going to only be, I don't think the Hawks are really going to go for him. The Knicks, then in the market for a center, Capella knows he'd be getting a big role with the Knicks. On top of that, where else is he going to go to the Lakers? They're very interested in Nicholas Claxton. So that's also an idea that could very likely happen as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what goes down in this scenario for sure. I do want to see Dante back on the Knicks. I would love to see the Nova Knicks finally get off the ground. I would love to see Dante back in the orange and blue where he rightfully belongs. If you ask Dante today, where do you want to play? He obviously would choose the Knicks. And for other people thinking, well, what about the argument with Rick Brunson and all that? Rick Brunson, Jalen Brunson, Dante, they've all said in the past, they're like, we're family. Families fight. We're past it. We broke it down, not in front of the cameras, because why would we talk about that in front of the cameras? Rick and Dante talked. Dante was not as angry at Rick as he more was angry at Tibbs, and Rick had been protecting Tibbs. And guess what? Tibbs isn't there, and there's a chance Rick Brunson isn't there either. I imagine he will be, but Tibbs is not there anymore. So what are you going to do? I'd rather Dante on my team than Tibbs. So that's what I'm saying. And I think with the Mitch situation, it just makes sense. What do you guys think? Do you want the Knicks to do that trade? I'll put it up one more time for you. Do you want the Knicks to make this trade, acquiring DiVincenzo, sending out Mitchell Robinson, and that pick, while the Suns kind of reload their roster and the Timberwolves do get Kevin Durant, which is the best fit for Kevin Durant. Also, then the Suns don't have to trade Rudy Gobert, who, I mean, Edwards, Durant, Gobert is an awesome top 3 that really complements each other. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Knicks.